have come to realize that if you want to heal, if you want to move on in life, if you want to let go, you need to move from the environment that dragged you into, the situation that you are in. You cannot be in the depression, the anxiety, whatever it is, and you are in that same location. It's going to be very hard to heal.
Hello, everyone. I welcome you once again to the Echoes of Dreamweavers. Here is Beatrice, and today, we are joined by a remarkable guest. She is a civil, labor, and immigration lawyer, as well as a mediator, making a real difference in Spain's legal field. Born and raised in Ghana, her early life was shaped by her culture and the challenges around her, sparking her passion for justice and advocacy. Well, her journey brought her to Spain, where she became the first Ghanaian Black lawyer in the country, driven by her commitment to helping immigrants and promoting intercultural understanding. She is creating, in fact, real change. So please help me welcome Juliana Afriyie Berko. So, dear Juliana, I welcome you to the Echoes of Dreamweavers, where every journey starts with a dream. I want us to start our conversation by looking a little at your early background. How was life growing up for you, Juliana?
Where do I start? So actually, I was raised in a small place. I quite don't remember the exact location, but I do know it is Agogo. Attention, which is Agogo, which is Atonsu. People that do not know this place is actually part of Kumasi, Ashanti region. So yeah, I quite remember just being only with my mom. I think my memories start from 6 years old. Yeah, so I was just staying with my mom. Yeah. Okay.
What early experiences in your life shaped who you are today, the Juliana that we all know?
I would say living abroad kind of like opened my eyes a lot, because I think even though Ghana was sharp and I was smart, I think I was smart and all that, but coming to Europe, seeing different races, competing with different races, it's a whole lot. So of course, the dynamics in Ghana is not the same as here. So one need to be very careful, and not just that aspect, but also like you are now dealing with a language barrier. You need to learn like a new way of communicating with other people. So not just the words, also what we call the verbal communication, right? Because certain things that in Ghana is going to be like, okay, this is wrong. Because I will see some of my students some of my colleagues at that time, they will raise their hands with their left hand. And I'm like, wait a minute, in Ghana, you can never raise your hand, at a teacher with your left hand, but here was something very common. So yeah, it was a new thing for me, but I'm glad that I do have, this both thing, which is having the Ghana experience, and also having, the European perspective, and it's all good. Yeah.
Juliana, thank you so much for sharing that aspect of your life with us. What motivated you to leave Ghana and pursue a career in law in Spain? You didn't pursue the career in law in Ghana, but rather in Spain. Why?
Actually, I think we will have to go back in time.
Please take us back. We are here for that.
All right. So I was raised in Ghana to the age of 13. And so my grannies, they have stayed all their life in Europe, which is Spain. And for whatever reason, they decided to, bring me abroad. So they did what they have to do, and I was born here. So yes, I came here as a child, but so it wasn't my intention to be in Europe. I do know that yes, the chances were high because most of my family members, they were abroad, but I did not know when. So even when I was coming, they did not let me know that, hey, now is the time you are going to be in Europe. I just knew that, okay, I'm just going to Accra. And the next thing, they wake you up around 3 a.m. They wake up, let's go to the Ghanaian, like the Spanish embassy. I'm like, what is happening? Like, everything was a rush to me. Yeah, everything was explained to me, rush, be very careful, do not go attend to nobody, check your ticket. And I'm like...
Juliana, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced when you first arrived in Spain, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, so the first thing I think is an experience for everybody that have been here as an immigrant who is not from a Hispanic background is a language, because it is actually a cultural shock that people will think that okay, you are in different countries, so definitely Spain is one of like the most tourist, country in Europe, so they're supposed to speak in at least in English. Trust me, they do not. They are so proud of their language, which is the Spanish. So the first challenge was actually the language barrier. It was so hard, but it was also exciting because some of my colleagues, once I went to school and they realized I speak English, they actually wanted to use me to study English instead of them teaching me the Spanish. I'm like, hey, nah, we're not
Can
going to
you
do
imagine?
this. Yeah, that's what they were trying to. Hi, and I'm like, you teach me Spanish, and once I become fluent, we can learn the English,
Right.
So that was the thing. And then the second thing is the racist thing, like, you're in Ghana and you know that you are, you do not see the race as a thing because we are all the same. But you come here and you see so many different races, not just the black and white.
Mm-hmm.
You see other people that they have different shade.
Right.
So, and then of course, how they treat you, it seems so different because you're like, hey, I'm human. But why are you treating me that way? Why are you looking at me that way? Why are you thinking that way? Because I am of such race. So when I came to Spain, I actually was living with my grannies, and we were living in a place where, unfortunately, most of the black girls, they were into prostitution. Some of them were forced into it. So most time when you are outside, they think most of the whites, especially the old white people, they think you are part of them. So they will stop with their cars and like, hey, beauty, can you enter? Like, excuse me, no, I'm not. Can't you see the difference? Some of my friends they used to be so mad and they would start insulting in the Spanish. I'm like, no, relax. I mean, it's hard, but it was hard. But the good thing is I have to know that you are not the same as them. You are here for a reason, and you need to chase whatever that was the reason why you were here. So I knew that, okay, if I've been here, it wasn't something that I chose, but I know that if I choose education, it will go well with me. So, okay, let me just try, and focus on this part that I've chosen. And that was it for me. So for me, at least that was, let me say, the peace that I had. Yeah. But at least I can always choose education. And later on, I can revenge. Okay. But that was then.
So that means through it all, you motivated yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You spoke of racism. How did you feel during those periods? Did you navigate through that period of your life?
It was really, really high. It was really hard, especially during, university days. Because I thought that, okay, during my adolescent era, it's okay because of the location I find myself. But I went to university, I'm like, okay, this place, people supposed to have open-minded, right? But then you would just be on the street and somebody would just shout on you, black, and I'm like, go to the country. I'm like, what? Like, I am on the road, you're in the car, and they are shouting on me. Like, it was too much. It was not acceptable at all. But I did not feel alone because every single black person that I ever met, even now, whenever we meet and we have a discussion, the next thing we are talking about racism, and everybody feel what I feel. Or they have felt what I felt at the time that maybe I experienced some kind of racism. So it is like we kind of bond on that trauma. I don't know, but it's like a conversation is like a black cannot meet a black here and we'll not talk about racism. It's actually sad. Like we're supposed to be talking about James Bond,
something else.
Yeah.
Juliana, who and what has been your greatest source of inspiration throughout your journey, both personally and also professionally?
God. I do not. I used to be very religious. I am still religious, but not as much. but I believe that you can confide in human, right? And I've gotten people that, especially my professors, but nobody has stepped up as God has stepped up for me. It's just crazy. So personally, it is God, and then the professional aspect is my professors. Because I remember doing my first time in university, I just wanted to quit. I'm like, this is not for me. Because people of my race at my age at that time, they just go and work with some basic stuff, labor work, and they will just gain their 1,500. And me, some people used to call me the Jesus Christ of our era. You want to go and study. So I'm like, you are the one to come and save us. Oh, my dear, you don't know. Even your own people, they will not encourage you. Like, you think you are the wisest. Okay, we'll go and study.
Dosajefo.
Oh, but they don't know the names I've got just because I chose to study. It's like to them, the audacity. There have been people that have come here, stay here for the last 30 years, 40 years, and people that were even born here, brought out here, and you just came yesterday, you thought that you were the one to go to university. Okay, go. So you couldn't even share your experience with anybody. You couldn't even share your... It's very hard because it's like, who are you going to complain to? Nobody. So it was hard.
And how did that make you feel, knowing that you were in a community, you found yourself in the Black community, but yesterday you felt like you weren't being accepted, and this dream that you had to pursue a career in law, it wasn't really accepted by the Black community. How did that make you feel, Juliana?
I'm not going to even say it's funny. It's not actually funny because there is this notion that even if you choose to study, the chances of you being Black and getting job after, graduation, whatever it is like the possibility is zero. So why bother? So that is the reason why they kind of convince you, like, they take you through that education, the education that you should not study. Because if you study, you're not going to get nothing in return. And so for them, they were not really in belief that I actually went to school. And the funny thing is that I actually went to school outside the community that I was brought up. Because I was like, what? If I really want to go to university, it will not be where I was raised, which was Anne Maria. So I'm like, no, I will choose any other university except of my location of my residence. So I chose outside and I went to the University of Afriyie. So a lot of people thought that I was actually not in school. No, not a lot of people. Almost everybody thought I was not in school. They thought I was just out there living my life, probably prostituting or doing, how do they call it, sugar daddy. They were just saying that I have any sugar daddies that are taking care of. It was just too much. It's actually funny that I'm now thinking and remembering it all. But so they did not believe me. They did not believe me. And being outside that community kind of also helped because I have come to realize that if you want to heal, if you want to move on in life, if you want to let go, you need to move from the environment that dragged you into, the situation that you are in. You cannot be in the depression, the anxiety, whatever it is, and you are in that same location. It's going to be very hard to heal.